Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Dr. Jennifer Spring, and I'm the superintendent of the Cohoes City School District. And I welcome you to our second virtual parent academy. Tonight's topic is navigating the district's technology platforms to support remote learning. So I'd like to introduce our presenter for this evening, as well as our panelists here. So we have our assistant superintendent here, Peggy O'Shea is with us. We have tonight's presenter, Jen Sangiacomo, who was our district's instructional technology integration specialist. And we have Erin Cagwin, and Erin is our communications specialist for the school district. So tonight's presentation will be recorded. It will be placed on our district website. So please tell any of your friends if they have any questions about supporting their children in remote learning, that everything they need to know about it is in this presentation, and they will be able to view it at any time from our website. So I'd like to introduce Jen Sangiacomo to you. So Jen, as I said, is the Instructional Technology Integration Specialist for the Cohoes City School District. She has been with the district since 2002, spending her first 14 years as a social studies teacher. In her current role, Jen leads professional development and works with teachers to introduce new classroom technologies and methodologies. Jen is also a Google for Education certified trainer and was awarded Trainer of the Month in January 2020. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Jen.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Like Dr. Spring said, we're hoping to give everyone some information about the different platforms we're using in the district. And some of these platforms that we're going to talk about may not apply to you, but like, for example, the first one is Schoology. And this is a platform we're going to be using for students in grades 6 through 12. Next, we'll talk about Classroom, which is what will be used in kindergarten through 5th grade. Schoology, we've been using, I believe, since 2013 or 2014, but we've been using it at the middle school and high school level for quite some time. When I was a teacher, I used it as well. And what this does is this allows teachers to assign work to students, give them feedback, grade those assignments, and communicate with parents by posting class materials. As a parent, you will have the full access that you need to see what assignments are coming up, if something has not been turned in, and you'll be able to see the grades for your child. And there's also the option in there for you to look at that work and see what it is that they turned in. You can access Schoology through the web. You can also use if you see on the presentation, I believe we're going to put a copy of this presentation on the district website later, but you can download the Schoology app to your mobile device. It's also available for Kindle Fire if you have that. If you don't have access, or if you're not sure that you have access, one thing that you can do is visit the cohoes.org Schoology for Parents page. The link is down at the bottom of this page, and there are instructions there on how to log in. Actually, I'm not sure if Erin, I don't know if there's instructions yet, but there is a link for parents to log in. All right, we're working on instructions. I know that some were sent out to, or are being sent out to middle school parents later. But when you log in, when you go to that Schoology login page, you want to use the email address that's connected to Parent Square. So School Tool, everything rosters from School Tool. So whatever the email address is in School Tool, that will be the email address that the district uses to connect you to Schoology, to connect you to Parent Square. If you're not sure if the district has the right email address for you, or if you changed your email address since you've used one of the resources last year, you should contact the secretary at the main office in your child's building and just provide them with an update. But there really shouldn't be anything else that you have to do because an account is instantly created for you if your email is listed in School Tool. All right, we can go to the next slide unless someone wants to add something. Okay. So Google Classroom is what we are using for students in the elementary levels. So it's a learning management system, just like Schoology. There are a few differences. One of the main differences is that students don't need to have a separate account to log into Google Classroom. So when they log into their Google account, they're automatically logged into Google Classroom. Just like Schoology, teachers use Classroom to assign work to students and then collect that work and grade it. And you'll also note this year for teachers that are using Classroom that they're probably also going to be posting learning materials to their Google Classroom, such as links to join their Zoom meetings, which we'll talk about Zoom a little bit later on. One big difference from Schoology is that in Google Classroom, there's no direct login for parents. So as a parent, you really can't go to Classroom and get into the child's classroom and see what the assignments are or what's missing by logging in with your account. So there's really two options in Google Classroom as a parent. The first is that you could use your child's account and log in with their username and password and go into the Google Classroom and see the assignments and the grades. Or you can receive guardian summaries. And what a guardian summary is it's a weekly email from Google Classroom, and it lets you know what work is missing, what work is coming up, and then it also will tell you all announcements and assignments that the teacher has posted since the last update. Teachers will be adding guardians to get the guardian summaries, I believe probably within the next week or so, and they're going to use the email that you have listed in School Tool. I would say by the end of September, if you have not received a notice from Google that you're signed up for these summaries, reach out to the teacher, your child's teacher, and ask that they add you as a guardian in Classroom so that you can get those summaries. All right, we can go to the next slide. All right, this year we switched over to Zoom. Last year we were using Google Meet, and I'm actually, even though I'm a Google trainer and I'm all about Google, I was really excited about switching to Zoom because Zoom has so many great features that Meet doesn't quite have yet. So as a teacher, Zoom will help teachers to engage students. They can ask poll questions, they can share their screen, and not just share what's on their screen, but they can share from the document camera. There's a lot of flexibility for the teachers when giving instruction, but also for the students, there's a lot of interactive features. One thing that students weren't able to do in Google Meet last year that they can do in Zoom is that they can give a thumbs up to their teacher to let them know they understand. They can raise their hand to let the teacher know that they have a question. And I think those are really valuable tools during meetings for them to communicate with their classmates and their teachers. Students joining Zoom, the experience for them is not really that much different than joining a Google Meet. Last year, many students joined Google Meets via link. So a teacher would have posted the link to join their session, either via email, or they would put it on their learning management system like Schoology or Classroom. And the same thing is going to be true of Zoom this year. A teacher will post that link right in the classroom stream or right on their course page of Schoology. And in order to join, all the student will have to do is click on that link and they will be right in the meeting. On a Chromebook, it should open right up into the Zoom app. And if the student is using another device, maybe a laptop or a desktop computer, the student is going to be asked if they'd like to use the Zoom Meetings app or if they'd like to join from the browser. So if you don't feel comfortable installing the Zoom Meetings app on your device, students can always join from the browser. can go to the next slide. All right. In July, we started using Parent Square as a district. I believe before this we were using Blackboard, and Parent Square is our district communication tool. And we thought it was really important to pick one communication tool for the whole district. As a parent, before this, you might have noticed that you were getting alerts from the school through one means of communication. Maybe you were expected to download Remind because your student's teacher at high school used Remind, and maybe you have a student in elementary school and their teacher was having you use Dojo, and there were a lot of different communication tools going on. Parent Square is going to help us to unify that communication. And what the district is able to do with Parent Square is message parents directly, take attendance, and send out those attendance notifications to parents. Teachers may use it for signups, permission slips, report cards. Those later features like permission slips and report cards, we haven't rolled those out yet, but you will start to see that later in the year. But I think one of the most important ways we're using Parent Square right now is to send out alerts. Parent Square is available on the web, so you can open up an internet browser like Chrome or Safari and you can log into your Parent Square account, or you can download the app on your mobile device. They have a mobile app available through the Apple Store as well as the Google Play Store. In early July, in terms of accessing this, in early July, you should have received an email invitation to activate your Parent Square account. But if you did not receive that invite, you can visit the link at the bottom of this page, parentsquare.com sign in. And what you want to do is you want to try to sign in with the email or the phone number that is listed for you in School Tool. If neither your email or your phone number works, then you'll see a form on that page where you can request to join Parent Square. And when you fill out that form, it's going to send an email notification to the district, and the Parent Square team is then going to take a look at your request. You might be contacted to provide some additional information, so make sure whatever number or email that you put into that form is accurate. But even if you don't register or download the app on your phone, you will still receive district communications via text, email, and voice. All right, we can go to the next one. All right, this is another platform that we added this year, and this isn't something as a parent that you will use or access. This is something for students. So we're using this in all grades, kindergarten through 12th grade, and ClassLink is a single sign-in platform. So what that means is that there is a landing page, and on that landing page, a student will see all of the apps and websites that they would need to log into for their class. So, for example, a student in 3rd grade would see a tile that would take them to log into Reflex Math. And one of the huge benefits of this is that students will not need to remember passwords for all of their different accounts. They'll just be able to go to the ClassLink landing page and they'll have access to everything they need. And this is going to be really useful for when they're learning at home. They will just go to that ClassLink page and they can click on whatever they need to use, whether that be Google Classroom, Reflex Math, Schoology, and they won't need to remember all of those passwords. They'll already be loaded there for them. And if you want to check it out from your student's account, this is the website they go to, myclasslink.cahos.org. And they log in with their cahos.org username and password, and then you'll see all of the sites and services that they have access to with one click. During the last week, we've heard from a lot of parents about trouble logging in. So we wanted to give you some information to get started with. And I want to break this down between K5 and 612 because we have some different password and username settings for both grade bands. So in K-5, passwords don't get reset. Students in K-5 keep the same passwords, and it is a set password that will not change. So if your child is in one of those grades and you forgot your login information and password, contact your teacher, and your teacher will be able to provide the user credentials to you as the parent. They will not send this information via through email, but they will be willing to give you a call back.
This is Peggy O'Shea. Just so all elementary parents know, if you are in the fully virtual model, you were already sent the username and password when you picked up materials. For the in-person students, the principals are going to be sending letters home with all students' usernames and passwords by the end of this week, so that you will have that at home too, just in case. So you will have that, and then in the future, if something happens and you do forget, definitely contact your child's teacher.
Thanks. And then in grades 6 through 12, at the beginning of the year, it's routine. We do this for security purposes. We reset all student passwords to a student default password. And then we ask students to change their password, usually like their first or their second day at school. Well, this year is a little bit different because not every student is at school, they're at home. So what you would want to do is you would want to use this link that you see on the slide. And what students would do is use that link and put in their username and the default password. Now, if they don't know what the default password is, and I'm not sure, Dr. Spring or Mrs. O'Shea, I don't know if that's something that we can say right here in this meeting. All right, we'll circle back. We'll circle back to that. But if you're not sure what the default password is, you can call the main office in your building, and they will be glad to tell you. And then what you would do is go to this site, enter in the student's username and that default password. And then once you're in, you'll see an option to change the password. And when the student changes their password, it changes their password for all their district resources. So for example, it's not just the login to the computer or Chromebook that changes. The Schoology login and password will also change to match, as will the ClassLink and the Google Apps password. So really the student just needs that one password to access all of their district resources.
So Jen, that's fine. You can reveal the district default password.
Okay, so, and I'm not sure if I should type this in. I'm gonna add a slide, and I'm gonna put it up on the next slide. Give me a second here. All right, you can go to the next slide. Should be there, hopefully. Oh, didn't go there. That's okay. The default password is ChangeMe1. It's one word. It's capital C HANGEME and then the number 1. I don't know if there's any way that we can post that. I just added a slide, so maybe if we go back to the previous slide and then come back, it'll be there. No. We can add it right into this slide. All right, I added it back to the login help slide. That didn't seem to want to add back in. When the meeting records, it'll be in the copy of the slideshow. But again, it's ChangeMe1, all one word with a capital C and the number 1 at the end. And this is going to be for students in grades 6 through 12. This will be their default password that they use. Okay. All right, we can go to the next slide. Oh, this is the next slide. Over the summer, one of my projects was to create a tech app. So I was pretty excited to create my first ever app. And what this app does is provide tech help for the various platforms that we have spoken about tonight. And this is something that you can put right on your mobile device. You would visit the kahos.glideapp.io site from your phone. It works on Android and it works on iPhones as well. You can also scan this QR code on your phone. And once you visit that site, there's going to be a little prompt that pops up that tells you how to add the app to your home page. And once it's added onto your home page, if you're ever having an issue with Schoology, with Google Classroom, you can find a lot of helpful videos that are made specifically from the student and the parent point of view that will show you how to navigate those different apps. All right, and I'll be adding to those throughout the year. So as things come up, I plan to update that app with resources.
Jen, thank you. Very, very informative. So if you have questions or comments, please send them to feedback@cahos.org. And I do have a comment, and the Parent Square app is extremely important, that all parents are accessing this either on a desktop, on their phones, and we're using it for the health attestations each morning. And this is really important. We're asking all parents to do their part and to help us to make sure that all of our students are entering our buildings and they're feeling healthy, and they've answered all of those questions for us. So please, if you need some assistance with Parent Square, please let us know, and we're happy to help you with that.
I did get one question by email earlier today with a parent wondering how they do the health attestation. So if you were looking on information on how to do that, when you log into your Parent Square account, you should see a button in the top right to submit your daily health screening. Says, what if, we have a question, what if it does not pop up? Is there a place to obtain it?
So I think you can go to participants, and if you click on that link on the left side, that you will see the health attestation, the word health attestation. You can click on that. Jen, are you seeing that?
Yes, I see underneath the participant page on the far left menu, there is a health screening icon.
Yes, so parents can click on that.
And one thing I think that's important to know is that the health screening does not open until 11:55 the previous night, and it's open until 8:15 in the morning.
Actually, it's open until 9. That's a little secret.
Okay.
But we'd like you to do it by 8:15. That would be really great. So far I haven't gotten any questions. So I'd like to thank all of our parents for joining us, and really thanking our presenter, Jen Sangiacomo. And I'd like to thank our parents for being really patient with us this year. So we've had to reinvent how we instruct our students in really 6 short weeks, and we've done it, and we continue to make adjustments. So we thank you for your patience. We are continuing to deploy Chromebooks for our students in the virtual program. And Peggy, did you want to say anything about that? No. So we're continuing to, again, make adjustments, and we appreciate your patience.
I do see a couple of questions.
Yep, we do have a couple questions in the Q&A section that I just wanted to point out. The first one came in just as the meeting was started. I have a 2nd grader and a kindergartner. as of Wednesday. Sometimes there's a problem with connecting more than one device close together. Any pointers on this? And that, I don't know if that would be a bandwidth issue. Any comment on that, Jen?
So I'm not sure the specifics. I do know of a couple families that was a sound issue where there was feedback kind of coming. I'm not sure if that's the issue. If that's the case, we do have some headphones and microphones that we can share to resolve that problem. So I would need more specifics if it's internet connection or if it's the noise.
It says it's a connection issue, so it might be maybe a Wi-Fi or a bandwidth issue.
So if you can feel free to email the specifics to us, and then we'll see what types of support we can provide. You can email it to any one of us, but I'm POSHEA@cohos.org. POSHEA@cohos.org, and then we'll see if we can brainstorm the issue.
So
And
here's,
also that the feedback email comes into all of us as well.
okay, so first, there's another question in the chat. We have never heard of school tools, but have Parent Square and Schoology. Should we have anything to do with school tool?
School tool is more of a behind the scenes information where teachers take attendance. The grades go from Schoology's to school tools, but we need to make sure we have your information correct in school tools to send the notifications. Jen, do you want to add on?
Yeah, as a parent, you won't need to. You don't have a school tool account, and you won't use school tool as a parent. But it's like Mrs. O'Shea said, it connects everything. So you just would want to make sure that information is correct. And if you're not sure, you can reach out to the main office at a building.
Yeah, I also know that every year the main office sends the information back and asks for parents to correct it. I believe if that hasn't already happened, it'll be coming soon.
So another question in the chat, I had problems. My oldest daughter disappeared from my Parent Square app, and I only have my youngest daughter in my account now.
All right, so Parent Square rosters directly from School Tool. So whatever is listed in School Tool will appear in Parent Square. So I think that might be a situation where if we were sent an email with your daughter's names and grades, we would be able to look into that.
And then we do have an email, so I'll read this and we can ask Jen the question. So we purchased a Chromebook for my 7th grader. Do we need to do anything special to link to all of the programs for him?
I believe that in the Chromebook, when you log into the Chromebook, as long as you are logging into the Chromebook with the cohos.org account and password, that you would have access to everything you would need from the district's point of view.
I think that could also be something that we add to our tech help page for parents. So that's something we'll work to make sure we add a section about that.
We also had a question from a parent saying that Harmony Hill teachers are not listed in their Parent Square and that their children would normally go to Abram Lansing. So I'm not sure, because I can see all the schools, but would a parent with children in a particular school be able to see other schools? Would they be able to access that information?
Would a parent be able to see other schools' information? Is that what
So if you're a parent with children in Abram Lansing, would you be able to access anything Harmony Hill related? I don't believe so.
Don't believe so, because you would only have access to buildings that your child attends.
Okay.
If this is a virtual, a parent with a student in the fully virtual model, some of the classrooms have students from all 3 schools, so I'm not sure if that is a specific question that this parent's parents asking, so again, if it's specific information, just email us the details and we'll get back to you in an email.
So the parent did say that it was with virtual teachers in the
Okay.
chat.
So I'm not quite certain. I know that Parent Square, we were working on the fully virtual model through Parent Square just a couple of days ago. So I think that has been resolved, but again, I'm not certain. So we will get back to you. I will check with our tech director on how to make sure you can see what you need to see.
And then there's a comment in the chat, my daughter still can't log in. I'm not sure what they can't log in. Must be their password or something. They need to reset their password.
So it depends if it's logging into the Chromebook or logging in. But so if they have a host Chromebook, the username and password is the same as for the Google accounts. So if it is a secondary student and the password has changed, they might need some additional help. And Karen Lackman at the high school can help, or you can email the guidance office or the main office at both the middle school and high school, or us, and we can direct you.
So here's a question. I'm not sure I know what the person means, but how long is the first wave of school again? We are virtual learning. So we do have it in 10-week increments. So what that means is, and we really need to start, because the classes are full. So during the 10 weeks, if you decide that if you're virtual, you'd like to go into the in-person model or vice versa, we can set that up for the second 10-week period. Peg, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, we ask that you do it at least 2 weeks before the quarter ends. I know it was listed in our description of fully virtual, but we can find a place to share that again with all of our fully virtual parents and on the web as well.
Here's a question about attendance. When kids are on a virtual day, how is attendance taken? We were told the student must log on to their Schoology account for the classroom, but if no work is assigned, are they counted as having attended? Peg?
So they do need to log on, and there should be work that's assigned on the at-home learning day. It doesn't necessarily have to be work that's assigned right through Schoology. It could be an extension activity, and we're in the process of doing some more FAQs in terms of attendance and grading now that school's in session. So that's something we can add from both the high school and the middle school and share out with parents. But they are supposed to log into Schoology each day that they are at home learning.
So here's a parent who's having trouble logging into Schoology as a parent. The parent has followed the instructions that came out today to a T. I keep clicking forget my password and nothing gets sent to my email. I have never had a Schoology account before. Please help new Schoology parents. Jen? Can't hear you, Jen.
Got to keep remembering mute and unmute. I'm not sure what went out today. I didn't see it, but I'm assuming that it's a document called Schoology for parents and caregivers. And in the instructions, I think what it's referencing is if you do not get that email from Schoology, you should contact your main office and just make sure that they have the correct email for you in School Tool.
So call the main office of the school?
Yes.
Okay, and say that I think you have an incorrect email address for me, and then have the building secretary update school tool for the parent, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And then Mr. Fields, Jason Fields was referencing an issue that his daughter wasn't able to log in. So that might be another one where he wants to email us or follow up directly, and we can look into that.
Great. And here's another question. I understand virtual kids are committed to 10 weeks at home. Are in-school students locked into that option, or could they switch to a virtual at any time? So at this time, we are sticking to the 10 weeks because we've had our classes are mostly full, unless there's some kind of extenuating circumstance. And please contact Peggy O'Shea. I'm going to say Peggy. And we'd be happy to, listen and understand what the situation is. Oh, I like this one. On a side note, you guys rock. Thank you so much for doing this. So that's nice to hear. And we're happy to answer your questions. And please let your friends know that this recording will be on our website, and definitely to take a look at the presentation and email us if they also have questions.
Yeah, and I just want to mention that if our answer to your question wasn't specific enough, just email us with the specific details and we will get back to you.
Okay, wait, a few last minute comments here. I found that you didn't need to put @cahos.org when signing into Schoology, just the first 4 letters, a first and last name. Please try that. So that's a good hint. And then here's another one. I'm asking if kids can switch from in-school to virtual. So it's Peggy, do you want to talk about that one, about switching?
Yeah, so many of our virtual classrooms are now full. That's why we had the deadline. Actually, the deadline was back in late August. So at this point in time, we are full in most of our classes. It might depend on what the class is. If there are, like Dr. Spring had mentioned, if there are extenuating circumstances, though, feel free to reach out to me, email me, and I'll get back to you, and we can talk about those, and we can see what grade level and if there is any room.
So here's the comment. Okay, thanks. I don't understand how virtual classrooms can fill up. So they fill up because we have contractual obligations of we can't have more than 30 students in a class. So that's how we cap it at the virtual classes. But in person, our class sizes obviously are very small because we have to abide by social distancing and the capacity of each classroom.
Yeah, if I could also mention, so our virtual classes this fall are different than our virtual classes in the spring. They are full day classes. Our students have materials assigned to the class. And as you can imagine, on a Zoom meet with students, the more and more students you add to the Zoom meet, the less interaction you're able to have with students, the smaller size of the screen with both teachers and students. So there's a lot of instructional reasons why as well to make sure our class sizes aren't too high.
All right, so some other really nice comments. Thank you. I appreciate your time and information. Thank you for writing that. And thank you, folks. All of this is impressive work. So we appreciate your positive comments very much.
There's one we missed up above, I believe, from Sarah McComber. Can you just real quick tell me all the applications we need for the year for both virtual and in-person learning?
So if your child is elementary, for virtual learning, it is Google Classroom, although all the in-person students have Google Classroom accounts, and in the letter that the principals are sharing. It's going to elaborate on that as students are being taught on how to submit assignments and use Google Classroom. Because of ClassLink, of student in K-12, if they sign in with their Google or their Gmail account and are using Chrome, you can see the applications are all listed. So for example, if you're a fifth grader, there's reading A to Z, IXL, into reading, Go Math, but it's all listed right as icons on their screen. So if you sign in, if they sign in, they'll see those. So they only have to click on them. They don't have to write the username. So the main applications, though, are the ones that Jen talked about at the beginning. And then there are grade specifics that are all integrated through ClassLink. And again, if you want to email and tell me the grade, I can send you all the specific applications per grade level.
And another positive comment I'm going to read. Thank you to everyone involved. You all listen and truly help. It's much appreciated, and we appreciate that. So thank you for sending that in. Well, I think we're all set here, and please feel free to reach out to us if you have any additional questions tonight after this presentation, and we'd be happy to help you. So again, thank you to our presenter, Jen Sangiacomo. Also would like to thank Peg O'Shea and Aaron Cagwin for helping us out this evening as well. Any last comments?
No, thank you, Jen.
Oh, wait. Here's another question. We thought we were almost done. Okay, here's a problem with Parent Square. So we're going to get back to this parent specifically because she was very specific in her information. So we'll get back to you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your evening. Take care.
Bye, everyone.